Today we're looking at programs that AP World History students submitted with their movies that they created on various aspects of World War II or what was leading up to World War II. I asked the students to create a program that you might get when you went to perhaps a play, maybe an orchestra performance, something that's given to you that lists who was involved. But more importantly, I asked them to be able to give the students something that was discussing what was going on in their film that they created, to give the backstory, just so the students were able to look back on the program and say, okay, what was that movie about? Oh yeah, it's about this, and some key points. This is an example of one that was basically thrown together. It was on one page. They folded it in the middle, which didn't do any good to anybody. Um, they put the synopsis on here, which was good. They put some factual evidence on here, which was good. It included a few images of them from their movie, but this was more in the vein of a movie poster, which they already created, and more and less in the form of an actual uh, program, if you will. So this will be an example of perhaps what not to do. And even the very top, the name of the film has been broken into three different pieces, and I'm not quite sure why they did that. So now we'll take a look at one that's done pretty well. So this one is a trifold. It's called Beyond Pearl Harbor: The Story of Japan. These students actually used the dry erase board with background music and drew pictures, which was actually a really clever idea. And when you open it up, you can see there are some still shots from their movie. We a lot of times in AP use the term SPRITE as an acronym for analyzing documents or even what's going on in a certain part of the world. For example, social, political, economic, religion, etc., etc. So they were able to kind of identify in each of those little categories something that was going on. So, for example, technological, they said kamikaze planes were created and used in Pearl Harbor. They probably could have gone a little bit more further with that. I don't know if that we necessarily call that technology because planes already existed, but nevertheless, they were trying to cover all their categories. They talked about religion here, that religion did not change. It remained Buddhist/Shinto. Intellectual, they created in Asia for Asians by presenting themselves as modernized liberators and no longer relied on European dominance. Um, so they got the idea, and then on the back here, they even kind of re-emphasized their points from their film, which was so. This was an example of one that's done pretty well. The last example was the not a trifold, but just a regular fold-over brochure. They have a copy of their movie poster on the front page, and then when you open it up, they give a little story here about what's going on during their movie. So Adolf Hitler's Nazi Party took shape after the collapse of the German imperial state after World War I. The popularity of the group slowly spread to the middle classes and landowners, and Hitler became the Chancellor of Germany in 1933. Once Hitler had power, suppressed all other political parties, arrested opponents, censored the press, and assumed police power, and successfully brought Germany out of the Depression. The Nazi Party then began to use Jews as a scapegoat for the problems in society, and all the Jews were excluded from public life. And this goes on for another paragraph. So they did a really good job of at least talking about what the basis was of their movie and kind of just giving an overview. So again, that was also very well done. And then they just put their names in the back. So there you go. That's really good, one that's pretty good, and one that's not so good.